everyone, welcome to another news update. So Acura, after much teasing, has finally revealed the compact SUV called the ADX. So the brand's calling this a premium compact SUV, and its aim is to attract younger buyers. Now, before we get started, Acura didn't really give us much in terms of images or video. There's actually no video, and all the images are really stylized, almost more like a marketing image. So you're gonna be stuck looking at me a lot during this, but I will put up every photo that we have access to. So let's get into the details. To start, the ADX will be offered in 3 trim levels. So just regular ADX, then there'll be the ADX A-Spec and the ADX A-Spec with advanced package. On the outside, it's gonna feature the frameless diamond pentagon grille. It measures 185.8 inches in overall length. So although it fights a class smaller, it's actually bigger than the Lexus NX, and it's about the same size as a BMW X3 and Mercedes GLC. So much like the Honda HR-V, which is somewhat related, this is a big, small SUV. It has all the usual Acura design cues, so you know it's an Acura from a mile away. It has the signature chicane LED daytime running lights, as the brand likes to call it. Standard, the ADX will have gray metallic lower body trim, silver skid garnishes front and rear, and 18-inch alloy wheels, wearing 225/55 R18 performance all-season tires. So that too sort of shows where the ADX is directed, and more as a on-road semi-performance SUV than something designed for off-road. And the 18s are just for the regular ADX. The higher trims get 19-inch wheels with 235/45 R19 tires, once again high performance all season. So stepping up to the ADX A-Spec, you get those 19-inch wheels and wider tires that I mentioned earlier, and LED fog lights. Stepping up to the ADX A-Spec with advanced package adds front and rear parking sensors as well as power folding side mirrors. So the 2025 ADX will be available in 6 colors, and although Acura hasn't mentioned what they're all going to be, they did state that there's an all-new exclusive color called Adriatic Sea Blue Metallic, and I assume that's the blue you see in the images here. So inside, the design is very similar to that of the Integra, much like the HR-V has a very similar interior to the Civic. It's available in 3 colors inside: ebony, red and ebony, and orchid and blue. The last one I'm very curious to see how that is in real life. Standard on the ADX will be a moonroof, dual zone climate controls, rear air conditioning vents, and heated front seats, a 10.2-inch Acura digital customizable instrument cluster, a 9-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless phone charger, a power tailgate that includes walk-away close. Stepping up to the A-Spec, and the seats add ultra suede trim. The moonroof becomes a panoramic moonroof. The front seats are now ventilated. There's a flat bottom steering wheel that's covered in perforated leather. The ambient LED lighting expands. There's stainless steel sport pedals, red gauge needles, power passenger seat, red contrast stitching, and what Acura calls a sporty chrome shift knob, which is pretty hilarious considering this has a continuously variable transmission, but more on that in a little bit. So A-Spec with advanced package has everything I've already mentioned, and then it also gets the full leather trimmed upholstery with ultra suede inserts. The steering wheel is now heated. There's a surround view camera. There's a Bang & Olufsen premium sound system, rain sensing wipers, and the power tailgate now also has hands-free access. In the rear seat, there's 37.7 inches of legroom, which is a lot for the class, and it's pretty healthy for any vehicle. So 4 adults should easily fit in here, and behind the rear seats there's 24.4 cubic feet of cargo space, which when you fold those seats down can go up to 55.1. So why have I talked about the interior, exterior, and features on each trim, but nothing about the mechanics? Well, that's how Acura laid out the press release. They're very light on specifics when it comes to the drivetrain. What we do know is that it uses a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, which is sort of what we expected. We didn't expect it would come with a 2 liter like the HR-V, but they don't quote any power numbers. They just say it has similar to the dock 1.5T used in the Integra. So that has me believe it may not have the full 200 horsepower the entry-level Integra has, because why wouldn't you just call it out? Maybe it's down more around the 180 mark. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe the manufacturer isn't 100% sure, but what I am sure and what they're sure about is every version, front or all-wheel drive, will come with a CVT. Now, a continuously variable transmission in this class isn't unheard of, but it may turn a few customers off. I know it helps with the price point, and Acura is quick to point out that the ADX does come with paddle shifters, and every grade has at least 4 driving modes: snow, comfort, normal, and sport. And then the top of the line A-Spec with advanced package also gets a customizable individual driving mode. The all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive are available on every grade, so you're not tied to a certain trim for a certain drivetrain. And as far as the actual chassis and suspension goes, it's built on the same architecture as the Integra, so I would assume this is probably going to handle pretty well for a small SUV. It's got dual pinion assist electric power steering and a sport tuned suspension. But it seems Acura also is really pushing the premium side, as there's a lot of lengthy discussion about all of the sound insulation, noise canceling elements on the vehicle. So again, in this class that isn't always there, some of the competitors are a bit noisy. So I'm really curious to see how this sounds and drives when we get our hands on it, probably sometime next year. Safety wise, well, there's Acura Watch advanced safety standard like most Acura models, so I won't go through everything, but you know, lane keep assist, collision mitigation, adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation, traffic jam assist, all those things that you expect in an Acura, they're all in here. The one thing that's not standard, as I mentioned, the surround view camera, which you don't get until you get to the top of the line A-Spec advanced pack. Every ADX though will include a driver attention monitor that will send alerts if it feels the driver is distracted or drowsy. So back to the pricing. Acura says the ADX should arrive in dealerships in early 2025, so that's not far away. And pricing is expected to be in the mid $30,000 range. Now the Integra starts at $33,000 plus destination charges, and I'd expect this to be in around the $35,000, probably a couple $1,000s more. And then, of course, price will increase if you want to add all-wheel drive. But unlike the Integra, there is the option of all-wheel drive, and there is going to be a bigger rear seat and cargo space, and probably a slightly higher seating position. So it gives Acura an option as another entry-level vehicle. In fact, they're calling it the gateway into the brand, which is interesting because it's not probably going to be the most affordable vehicle. It should be a little bit more expensive than the Integra. So that just shows that Acura knows younger buyers are drifting more towards buying a little SUV than a small sedan, which is unfortunate for enthusiasts like us because the Type S is such a fantastic car, and even the regular Integra is cool. But we'll hold all judgment about the ADX until we get to drive it. On paper, it sounds like a pretty competitive product, but we won't really know until we get it on the street. So stay tuned, and hopefully in the next couple months, we'll get a chance to drive it.